A little over a year ago, we picked up the keys to what was then our latest project, and as is usual with our projects, we decided to film the entire process. Things seemed to be off to a good start with planning approved pre-completion, and this is what we had to say about it on day one. With land getting harder and harder to come by at a good price, us developers have to get more creative, and one way of doing this is to go up. The government seem to be helping out developers now with new permitted development rights to add roof space to buildings, and that is exactly what we are going to do with this building behind us, building the roof line up to the height of the adjacent building, creating an additional story plus some space in the roof, which is going to give us 2 residential apartments, and we're going to keep the ground floor commercial space. So very excited to get started with this project and watch as it progresses. Unfortunately though, that excitement was short-lived as we had to completely revise and resubmit our planning application. The main reason for this was that the foundations of the building simply weren't strong enough to take that full additional story. So instead of building up, we instead took the roof off, or made the decision to take the roof off, increase the pitch of it, and enable us to get an additional apartment in the roof space without significantly increasing the load that was sitting on the foundations. This did mean a pretty significant change to the financials of the project, but it had always been our plan B if for any reason we weren't able to build up, so we knew that it still made sense to proceed. And in addition to the extra time that took, we also had what can only be described as the neighbour from hell, which meant that the whole party wall process took a hell of a lot longer than it needed to. Meaning that fast forward the best part of 9 months or so from that video, and we were then in February earlier this year. It finally feels like we're making progress on the barbershop project after months of delays. I think we recorded our first intro probably this time last year, maybe a couple of months later, but certainly a good 9 months ago, where we were excited, it was all set, and we thought, you know, within 3 months we would have a completed project. And planning issues cropped up, party wall issues cropped up, financing issues cropped up, and finally, in early February 2019, we are starting properly on the build. We've been doing a bit of stripping out and obviously getting all the above issues sorted above by planning, party wall, all that sort of stuff. Today though is the date that our new trusses arrive and get craned on, which will form our 1-bedroom apartment in the loft. So very excited, delighted to see this project progressing, and yeah, it's going to be a good one. There were 2 things that really amazed me about this stage of the project. The first was just how quickly those trusses went on. In the space of a day, we went from wall plate level to having an enclosed space that really gave you a sense of what was to come. And the second thing was just how much space really was created from, well, I was going to say a slight change to the roof pitch, a fairly substantial change to the roof pitch, but in the grand scheme of things, a relatively simple change. We went from about 22 degrees, which is pretty shallow, up to just under 45 degrees, and it blew me away that we were able to create this usable space from something that prior to that you couldn't even stand up in. Going forwards, whether it's a simple house renovation or creating new apartments or even HMO projects where you're trying to squeeze in those extra bedrooms, this type of change where you're increasing the pitch of the roof is something that we will definitely consider doing again. And thankfully from there, the rest of the project went pretty smoothly as well. fact, it all happened so quickly once our team finally did get on site that what you've just seen is pretty much all of the footage that we were able to record during the build. I am delighted to say that the project is now complete, and you can see from these pictures what a fantastic job Victoria has done on the interior design. Both the apartments have got very different styles, but they both work extremely well for the spaces. We made the decision to trial them as our first serviced apartments, and the upper floor, the smaller of the two, the one bedroom, has been on for about a month now. And actually during that first month we had about a 50% occupancy rate, and things seem to be picking up, which I'm thrilled with. It's far better than we expected. And the two bedroom, the one on the first floor, has been online for about a week, and on the first day we had a booking come in to start that day for 3 weeks, so also off to a great start. It's something that we think we're going to continue running long into the future with these two apartments, but obviously if that market changes, we've got a number of other exits. We could rent them out as single lets and they would do very well for us in that regard, or of course we could sell them, and again, given the level of design, the standard of finish in them, I think they would sell and give us a healthy profit as well. As you might be able to tell, we are now on our boat, and if you followed our content for any length of time, you'll know that this has been a plan that we've been working on for the past 2.5 years to sell our house back in the UK and sail the Med for the foreseeable future, certainly until we get bored of it. We plan on still creating content, and we definitely plan on continuing to grow our portfolio. So if you want to keep seeing these videos, I would massively appreciate if you give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well to make sure when we do get that next content out, you'll be the first to be notified.